What's shakin' bacons? Thank you all for being patient with me. I know my videos haven't been entirely consistent lately, so I really appreciate your patience. I've had a lot going on with my main job, and then I've been injured, of course. I'm still attempting to work through physical therapy to get that sorted out. Today, let's talk about Star Wars news. We're going to be covering some stuff from October, some stuff from November. There's been sort of a lull lately, I feel, with Star Wars news because whenever you have a space in between the major films, there's going to be a little bit of quiet about the franchise relative to what it normally is. Anyway, let's talk about some Star Wars news that I find interesting, and the first one, sadly, does not surprise me. This was brought to my attention by Lagatter, so thank you so much, Lagatter, for bringing this to my attention, and unfortunately, I am very sad and not surprised by this. You all know I'm a huge fan of Knights of the Old Republic. It was the first game that got me into gaming. I am a gamer. I love gaming. Unfortunately, I haven't had the time to play anything recently because of what I have going on with work, but I started playing Knights of the Republic when it first came out, and I want to say I've replayed it like at least once every year, maybe every 2 years. I love the game so much, and I replayed it on this channel, so if you're interested in that, you can check out the playlist I have with the first KOTOR on this channel. So, of course, to no one's surprise, because companies being what they are, and Disney, who owns Lucasfilm, being what it is, the fan remake that we were all hoping for has been canceled by Lucasfilm. What a shock. It was legally blocked. Now, this was going to look really interesting. I've been watching the development of this for a long time. I was excited about it. Unfortunately, there's no way for them to profit from this. So, of course, they're going to shut it down because screw everyone who's excited and screw all the work that's been put into this. For those of you who didn't know, there were fans that have been working very diligently on making a new KOTOR game, sort of just updating the graphics and updating the gameplay based on the Unreal Engine, and it was canceled. Let's talk about why. They were issued a cease and desist. This is not going to damage Star Wars. There's no reason other than them being a-holes for them to pull this. I don't understand it, and it makes me mad. However, I was waiting for this to happen because I know that's how they are. So this is very unfortunate. Very truly yours, Rhonda. Screw you, Rhonda, and screw whoever else decided that shitting more on your fans was a great idea. Sadly for us, we will not be seeing an updated fan version of KOTOR because Lucasfilm/Disney is the worst. Moving on, let's talk about just a few little news items that I just think are very interesting and that point to the way that the actors felt about working with Rian Johnson on The Last Jedi. There's an article on Cinema Blend that is a quick interview with Oscar Isaac, and he says that the way that they are shooting feels different in this movie. In the first movie, of course, there's a lot of pressure to get the series reintegrated and have the series become popular. And of course, The Last Jedi, many of the actors were rumored to be unhappy with the way Rian Johnson was handling it. We all know Mark Hamill really was. And Oscar Isaac says that as they are filming with J.J. Abrams back in the director's seat and in control, he says the way they've been shooting it is looser than it's been for the last 2 times. It feels like a relief to get on set. It's a testament to J.J. coming back and feeling confident. Now, this gives me encouragement for what could potentially be fixed or where the story could continue for episode 9. I honestly don't have very high hopes for it. I'm just going to be real with you guys. I think that The Last Jedi did a lot more harm than it had any right to, and that Rian Johnson had any right to, and I'm still kind of in disbelief that Kathleen Kennedy got signed on for another tenure. I don't know what Bob Iger was thinking, and screw her, but regardless, I think that this is just a very interesting small snippet of a story that demonstrates that even the atmosphere on the set is way different than it was with The Last Jedi. For further viewing recommendations, another thing I want to draw your attention to in case you have not seen this and you're interested, they rediscovered a lost documentary on the making of The Empire Strikes Back, and somebody, God bless their hearts, uploaded it to YouTube. It's just under an hour long, so if you want to watch a really interesting part of Star Wars history, you should definitely go check that out. I will have a link to it in the description box. Another small snippet of news, Mark Hamill has confirmed that he's coming coming back for episode 9. How long will his appearance be? We don't know. It could be long, it could be short. Maybe he's going to appear in some flashbacks. Who the frick knows? He did say in a Twitter statement when people kept asking him questions, I mentioned keeping my Star Wars opinions to myself, and what happens? It triggers an avalanche of questions about the next one. Well, yeah, it's because Mark Hamill has been very forthcoming with us, unlike execs at Disney and Lucasfilm. He says all he can say is, yes, I meant it. Other than that, consider it episode 9 comment. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of role he plays. I'm really hoping we get some more kind of background to what's going on with him and Kylo, or we get some kind of resolved plot thread. Honestly, I can't make myself care about this trilogy anymore. The Last Jedi, I was excited for this trilogy. I had some problems with The Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi really did absolutely kill any enthusiasm or excitement I had for this series. It really did. Not the entirety of the Star Wars series, but the sequel series. Killed. R.I.P. What is really interesting to me is this article that came out in the beginning of November that I'm not sure I heard anybody talking about. I might have missed it. However, I thought it was interesting and I really wanted to share it with you guys. There was an interview in an article at Variety where there was just a little bit of information dropped about episode 9 that I found very intriguing. This article's from theforce.net, and it is mentioned that episode 9 is going to be a course correction. Interesting. In the article, there was a little snippet of information mentioned that says, Disney one-party wages is in a pole position. The company has a strong foothold with Abrams. He's working on episode 9, which has been billed as a course correction at Lucasfilms. And then they try and pin it on Solo. That's no. This is definitely a course correction after what happened with The Last Jedi. And J.J. Abrams and Bob Iger met, and now he's back at the helm, of course. So I think it's interesting that Disney has, in some fashion, acknowledged that they need a course correction. I think they're still trying to save face by pinning it on Solo. But let's be real, Solo's not the problem. Solo was never the problem. The problem was The Last Jedi. Even though most people were not interested in Solo, Star Wars fans would have gone to see Solo if it wasn't for The Last Jedi absolutely destroying people's faith in this movie franchise and in Star Wars as a franchise, the way it's been handled by Disney. However, there is a new launching series for Star Wars that I'm actually excited about because I love Rogue One. Rogue One is probably my favorite Star Wars movie, which I know is a controversial opinion. I just want to put that out there. It was so much better than I thought it was going to be. It was gritty. I got to see another side of the Star Wars universe. It was dark. It felt so well put together. I invested in the characters even just over the space of one film. And one of the most interesting characters in there, other than Jyn herself, was Cassian Andor. And you want to talk about making a movie or a series about a rogue type character, Cassian Andor is a very intriguing character to focus on. Now compare this to Solo, who was the other rogue type character that they focused on previously. There's not anything really at stake, it feels, when you're watching a Solo film, because it's just documenting Han's life before he was involved with the Resistance. There's not really any kind of life or death threatening situation that can truly suck you in with Solo, because you already pretty much know where the story is going to go, versus when you've got a story or a series like this one that's going to focus on what happened with the Rogue One Cassian Andor character. We don't know who he is. We know he is kind of dark and he's gritty. He offed an informant right when the movie started. He's made some bad choices and he kind of has a bit of a redemption at the end, right? But his character and his work for the Resistance and the intrigue and the struggles that the Resistance went to is largely unknown to us in this new universe. And I think that this new series that they're going to make based on Cassian Andor is a really interesting way of exploring that. And I'm definitely going to try and find it. What I will say is that they're producing it on their streaming service, Disney Plus. I am not going to sign up or pay for anything related to Disney Plus, but I will try and watch this somehow. I think that's going to be really interesting. You guys should tell me what you think. Are you interested in something like this? I feel like this has the potential to be really, really cool. Anyway, that's all the Star Wars news I have for you today. Tell me what you think about their course correction. And are you also not surprised that the fan remake of KOTOR was kiboshed by Lucasfilm? Because I am not at all. Speaking of video games, I know that you guys have been missing me streaming, or at least some of you have, and I'm so sorry. My schedule is still very strange and I don't have a consistent time to try and stream. I am going to try and find some time upcoming over the holidays because I am going to try and take some time off of work, and I will attempt to be on then and we'll play some games. I'm thinking maybe Lego Star Wars Clone Wars? Tell me what you think about that. I think it's either that one or maybe I'll come up with another option. Anyway, I hope you're all doing amazingly. I will catch you all later.